Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back again. Yard Talk. Y'all already know. It's me,
Yes.
Big T. Now, y'all already know my co host is going to be coming through soon. Key Stacks.
Yes.
Wonderful. But we're not here for that. What we're here for is this other lovely woman here
Yes.
today.
Thank you.
How would you love to introduce yourself? Let the people know who
Okay,
you
I guess
are.
I'm Twila, aka Twilight. That's like my alter ego stage, um, kind of persona. So Twila is my real name, and I just use that as my creative outlet. I've been making music for a good minute, but I became serious probably about like I was like 15, I would say, and then from then it just took off, and I started knowing more about the industry and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. I definitely love that name. I saw that name and I was like, oh my god, that is an elegant.
Yeah.
That's so. This is so. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
like
I
I
will say
just picture little
it's a blessing.
sparkles just flying over it.
Yes, it's a blessing that like I was just had the opportunity to be pretty much blessed with that name. I think I froze. Do you see me?
Yes, I do see you, but it did freeze for a second.
Let me try this.
Moments like this happen, so I can always cut it out in the end product.
I was saying that I guess I'm just truly blessed because you know how people always try to find out their artist name. Like I came out the womb, I already had that name, so I was like, I'm gonna just boom use this, and I think like it's also short and sweet. Like it's not too long, it's not too short, and it's pretty unique. Like I haven't met a lot of Twilas, so.
Most definitely haven't that. Yeah, it's definitely new. It's unique. Most definitely. So, for those who don't know, where you coming from?
I'm located in New York right now. About like 8 months ago, I was in Atlanta, and I was initially born in Detroit. Then I also moved to Seattle, so I've been around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm up here in Jersey City, so we could have. I know that I should have checked in for that, but we could have definitely made this part on this side, uh, an in-person interview. Definitely get that set up. But
Mhm.
it is what it is. We're here. That's what matters. I love it. I'm glad to have you here. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, what was your startup journey like when you started getting into music? Did you go to studio? Did you get your own equipment, or did you just kind of know somebody around the way?
Oh, Lord, this is actually an interesting story. So I started off, um, I really started off in, I was a big theater kid, right? So I love the musical stuff like that. And I was in high school this one time, and it was coming around. I think my sophomore year, no, my freshman year was ending, and they did like musical tryouts. And I remember I tried out and I didn't make it. And the theater teacher, she had told me, she was like, you are bad at acting, but you're really good at singing. And so she recommended me to this program we had in my high school, which was music technology. And that gave me the literal basis to learn how to produce. I started making beats, started learning how to mix and master on multiple different DAWs. And then after I got like really comfortable within like 6 months of that class, I started recording on my own. What I like about that class so much is they had like high quality equipment for us, like the touch of my fingertips just being like 14, 15. And not a lot of people got access to that. It's also funny. I don't know if you know the backpack kid, the
Mm-hmm.
kid who does like that dance. He was in my class. He used to go to my school.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so interesting because like just those connections, and even some people in that class like still make music to this day. Like it was like it was a vibe to be pretty much.
Most definitely. I just saw a video with Kai Snat and what can I think of his name? Goddamn Drewski. They
Hmm.
were doing a live stream and they did the little could have been shit, and then Backpack Kid came through. I was like, oh,
I
that's
saw that.
lit. That's lit, definitely. So, what are some of your inspirations? When I say inspirations, that goes as far as artists or even family or friends.
Um, as far as artists, I would say like as far as like when I look for beats, I would say I do tend to center towards like a lot of Drake beats, and I know that is like something that's very popular. I have been getting more versatile with it. So sometimes I use like Janae Aiko inspired. Sometimes I don't know if you heard of Lucky Day. He's an R&B artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I can switch from like different genres. It's not something I've always had the opportunity to do. But I've gotten in the place now where because I become so well connected and I feel like people in the industry respect me. Um, I don't even really have to go look for beats now. People just send me stuff all the time. So I don't even really have to buy anything. People just be like, yes, please use my beat for free. Or yes, like, I really want you to hop on this and that. So I think that as far as like beats, and inspiration, that's where it comes from. But as far as like my lyrics and stuff, that all that stuff comes from like my personal life, my struggles, trauma, stuff like that. So every song I've written and every song that's out has something to do with my life in any way.
Okay. Most definitely, most definitely. Now, talking about some of your projects or work, what has been the most? What's been the song that you felt like you put the most emotion into?
Oh Lord. It's actually most of my unreleased stuff. So right now I actually have about like 45 unreleased songs.
Wow.
Like and they're actually good quality stuff that I've had like some of them I've recorded on my own because like I said I learned how to record stuff like that on my own in the past. And I will say because I've grown so much as an artist within the past year as far as like being able to express myself through my music, those are the songs that are really like I feel like top notch. And that's why I'm like kind of holding them in the vault because I want it to be perfect when I release.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those songs is one I'm planning on dropping this month, which is You're Pretty. And that one is pretty much again a reference to my life, but in a way where it's talking about like my trauma, my experiences, but not like in an upbeat way. Like you still vibe to it.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Do you do any kind of vocal practice for when you do your vocals? Any
So I haven't had any vocal training. What I will say is that I intentionally learned how to like I'm very good at self-learning in anything like academics, hands-on things within the world. Like I can grab onto things very quickly. Even coming here to New York, like one of the biggest things for me was like going on the fucking subways. I learned that shit so fucking quick, and I was like, nobody can stop me now. Like I'm a New Yorker, yada yada yada. But for me, self learning is just like a really strong aspect within me. So for me, it wasn't vocal training. It wasn't paying $100 to go see somebody. It was I'm waking up at the crack of dawn, figuring out, okay, how do I get my voice to flex like this and do like that? And I tell people all the time, being like able to use your voice in a positive and effective way is literally just exercising a muscle because those are vocal cords. You know, they stretch, they contract. If you practice enough, your body is going to get used to that stretching and contracting, and then you're going to be to the point where it's just like exercising and using your muscles. So yeah.
Most definitely. You're hard to hear. Let's just take that advice, lifelong, definitely. That's definitely tight. I love that. I love that. I'm working on trying to get my vocals ready. My mom's like, sometimes you can sing like, not really. But I'm working on it. I think we all love to try to get in the shower and sing our favorite song.
I think it's definitely like, for me, like I wasn't always at the place I am now. Like I feel like I'm definitely a better singer than I was before. I will say that. It's just like I was just always practicing and like with making my own songs, a common thing I do is I go over it over and over and over and over again. So by the end of the day, I already have that song memorized, even though I just wrote it like 2 hours ago.
Right. Right.
So that helps too.
Most definitely. Now, there's a thing out there, a looming cloud over the industry. It's not always prominent. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But that would be the question of being independent or getting under a label. How do you feel about that?
I would not want to be under a label. I've gotten around like 5 offers to be under a label. I've rejected them all. I'm very, just for me, the type of artist I am, I'm very set on being independent. I will say for other people, maybe signing to a label is more so for them, but for me, I don't want to sacrifice, things that come with being a part of a label.
Definitely. There's some that don't want to give that
Yeah,
up, give that freedom up.
yeah, definitely.
But as many other people have said too, always remember this, guys. It just kind of depends how you play your cards.
Yeah,
It might work.
yeah.
Not for everybody though. Not for everybody. So, moving on. To me, there's a lot of work that goes into the creation process of a song, which I could list off many things that go on into the creation process. But the two pieces I want to set out at top is starting off with the writing process. So, what's your writing process like?
Ooh. My writing process has been perfected, honestly. Like I said, the past year, I just fucking grew. Because I went through a lot in my life, and that, like, really impacted, like, me becoming just the overall person I am. Not just Twila on the stage, but Twila as a person. Like, I'm way more mature than I was before. Able to just, like, stand on my own and, like, be in the world. And when it comes to my writing process, like, my first song, it took me, like, a couple weeks to write. Now it takes me, like, 30 minutes a song, which is also part of the reason why I write so quickly. A lot of times when people ask me for features or I'm just writing something on my own, it's very easy for me to like have that done within a couple days, written and recorded, and it's sent out and mixed and mastered, etc., etc. Um, like I said before, usually when I am writing, I go over it over and over again. I do not finish that song and I do not stop on my laptop right now, but most of my lyrics I type on my laptop. I'm not the type to write them out or even text. Um, so typing for me is like way like more efficient. So I'll just be like humming. I'll get like a little tune, a melody in my head, and I'll start typing. And I literally like it's just a rule I have. I will not get up and finish making that song until it's completely done. And because I've organized that practice overall, I've ended up with complete songs. And what I'll do sometimes, not every time, but sometimes if I feel like it's complete but I don't like it, I'll save it for later. And then what usually ends up happening is I take that piece out and I put it in another song. And it happens all the time. Like even with the song I'm about to release now, it had a whole different beat on it. And originally, all I did was change up the melody a little bit and I put it on another beat. And like I said, it takes me like 30 minutes. Once I find the beat, I just go over it over and over again in my head. I have a also a thing of like, I don't know what it's called, but like a memorization thing where like I hum. So that could be music, it can be with studying. So if I'm like, like I'll remember it, like the hums and like how the hums sound in my head closer to than I do words. So I'll do that over and over again before I start actually writing words. Um, so I'll have the whole thing like hummed out, and then after that it'll be like words that I write.
Okay. I definitely love that. Way of writing music. Like I've never heard. Normally, you do hear like, oh, I wrote it on my phone, or they actually pen and pad. But laptop on the computer is. I like that different take. I like that energy for when it comes down to writing the music on.
You were listening to my song, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That one was actually like. I froze up again. That one was actually part of that song. I tell people this all the time. They don't know, but it's actually about God. I'm like I feel like I'm a spiritual person. Sometimes I'm hesitant to say religious because like I don't practice like certain holidays and stuff like that. So if you want to call me religious, you can, but like just know that I'm not like you know I just don't do certain holidays, but I feel like I am like someone who like is very like God oriented. So the first lines of that song actually when it's like taught me the lines of the righteous is literally about the Bible because I grew up in a private Christian kind of world. So taught me the lines of the righteous. I was taught the lines of the righteous, which was the way of God, etc., etc. But of course, no one's gonna know that. But I like decoding, like coding my stuff a certain way, because at a certain point, I don't like when people know like everything so upfront. Like I want them to think about it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Definitely. Most definitely. Now, the other piece of the creation process that I like to put on a higher pedestal is the sound behind the lyrics. How would you say that the beats you choose from the beginning to now have evolved?
I tend to use more wavy beats. I will say that. So like synths or like drawn out melodies, and where how I usually do it now is like I like the melodies to be repeating, and like you add the drum line and the beat or whatever. But the way I write and my cadence, I switch up. I determine how the flow is going to be instead of the beat flowing and telling me how it's going to be. So I do like when it is a little bit more simple stuff where it's like heavy trap stuff like that. I actually used to make stuff like that. Some of that stuff you'll see like lower on my SoundCloud. That's probably not something I would make now. If anything, like I said, it has to be something like wavy related because I am.
Right.
I don't know why it keeps freezing, but it never happens out like that before. But like now, because I have like more like vocal ability, I tend to lean towards that more. But I have been trying to get a little bit into like working on like I guess rapping and stuff like that. It's just not something I feel like is important right now, but maybe later down the line. But like far as the actual sound, especially like the sound of my voice, I do like it to be like a certain like pitch. So when it sounds like that, that's not edited. People tell me that all the time. They'd be like, I don't know if you read my comments or whatever, but sometimes like on my SoundCloud or like other platforms, they'd be like, oh, like she pitched her voice, and I'm like, no, like I automatically debunk that because I've worked very hard to like I said, train my vocals to naturally be that way where I'm not straining my vocals and it's just natural. And so I don't like when people say that I'm using like pitch corrector or this, I'm doing that because it's not. So um, that's something that I feel like as far as the sound, like I like take heavy pride in. And not all of my songs, but some of my songs, as far as like the I do like a lot of like oohs and ahs in the background, like little ad libs and stuff like that, like those. But I feel like my sound is very unique. I do feel like I haven't really met anyone who incorporates like pretty much the same package and all the stuff I incorporate in it. If that makes sense.
Y'all gonna stop playing with you gonna y'all gotta stop playing with her. Come on, don't put a shit like that in the box with her fucking vocal reach. Come on now, don't y'all gonna have to stop playing with her. Like if you're playing with her, you playing with me. Feel me? Got it.
No, that's right. They be playing, bro. I have to correct them. Sound straight.
Real shit. So, with the music you put out, what kind of impact have you had with people?
I will say I feel like I have an impact. I don't know. I don't want to be like too big headed or cocky because I'm definitely not that person. But now, especially like when the past like 3 to 6 months, I have people reaching out to me for like advice and feedback. And before that was not something that happened. Like that was something where like I was just making my music and it was whatever. Now I feel like the fact that people are like asking me for advice, I'm listening to their songs. Some people are even like saying, "Oh, like I'll pay you if you critique my song and write feedback." I don't usually do all that. I'll just do it for free or whatever because I don't believe in like in that sector and like it should be money related. Other things are money related, but not specifically that. But I feel like for me, that was a big eye opener as far as like the impact, fact that like people thought I was good enough. They were bringing their own stuff and they were showing me their stuff for a review. And at first, like I said, it wasn't like that. Like I wasn't getting anybody messaging me like back to back, all these random people. And a lot of times it's people from all over the world, like Switzerland, it'd be like Brazil, Australia. people from different states. But I think also another thing as far as the impact is a lot of times it shows. I think just because I have a strong presence and I'm very confident, sometimes people think that, um, how can I say? I guess sometimes people are very influenced by that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had talks with people, like, say, for example, I'm doing a show and, like, I'm like about to get on stage or whatever. I've had talks with other performers where I'll be like, I'm literally encouraging them while they're about to get on stage because they see something in me that says that, oh, she's confident, she has this going on, she has the ability to, keep the crowd, and she has good music, she has a good vibe. And for me, that says a lot when I can go like from different places and different sceneries and different cities, and people before they get on stage, they're asking me, oh, what advice do I need? How should I present myself? What should I say? How should I engage the crowd? And that definitely is like something big for me because I've worked a lot on trying to like garner my stage presence. And I still don't feel like it's at the capacity it could be at right now, obviously, because I haven't like, I still have room to grow pretty much, but I've come a long way. So
Most definitely, and I see it. Definitely can't wait to see you at the Grammys. Definitely can't wait to see you at the BET Awards, all that shit. Be sitting there right. On stage, girl. Real shit. So when you're in the studio or when it's time to record, what's that feeling like for you? Like how does that when you get a chance to finally do your own music, what and or listen
I don't
back
play
to
about
it?
my
How do you
studio.
feel?
I don't, I don't play about my studio time. A lot of people go in the studio, and I don't know like if people are gonna like feel some type of way about this, but I'm gonna fucking say it anyways. A lot of people go in the studio and they waste their goddamn time and they waste their goddamn money because they go in there, they don't have no lyrics written. They don't even have a beat sometimes. It's just like sometimes people, I guess, they see the online vibe of, oh, let's be in here, let's drink, let's smoke, let's vibe. Nigga, that's money going out the fucking window. And the engineer's sitting there and he's just twiddling his fucking thumbs on Instagram, whatever. That nigga's getting paid. Meanwhile, when you leave, you maybe have half of a song done. And you book what, a 6 hour block, 4 hour block, 8 hour block. And for me, like, I never was like that type of person. So when I get in the studio, I don't play. And I feel like, okay, if you want to do that in your session, that's fine. I could come along and tag along with you. But if it's my session, like, we're not playing, we're getting straight to work because time is motherfucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm in the studio, I usually record songs very, very quickly. Like I said, if I'm going over in my head like 20 to 50 times before I get there, let's believe I easily already have it memorized. So when I hop up in the studio, some of the songs I actually have out are actually one takes. So I'll just run the whole thing. I won't even stop. I'll run the whole thing from start to finish. The guy will mix and master it. I'll be out there in like 40 minutes. I won't even use a whole hour.
Okay.
So I'm very like serious about like my studio time and how I use my money and stuff like that. Because it's also the fact of being an independent artist and wanting to stay an independent artist. This shit is coming out my like 9 to 5. This shit is coming out my check. So I can't afford to be just wasting money just because I want to have a vibe or this or that. Like I'm the type of person where I can have a vibe by myself. Like I don't need a bunch of people there to affirm that for me. So when I'm in the studio, it's definitely like it's time to work. I usually do my sessions by myself. Like I said, I'm not gonna necessarily say that you can't do it with other people, but there can become a distraction if there's too many people in there. And you, like I said, you're there to work. But a lot of times when I like get behind the 'cause I actually don't go to the studio a lot. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, because I record things very quickly, I don't need to go as much, number one. And number two, the way I like promote myself and sometimes my image, I like to do sometimes more shows than like maybe just going and like recording something. Because I do like performing, I will say that. So sometimes, yes, like once I do get the chance to get behind the studio and like saving my money or whatever, I like got a block session or whatever, like it's the feeling of like hearing my voice in the mic is like I'm like I'm ready, like come on, just play the song. And I think like for me, like it's definitely also the engineer that has to have the right vibe. Because I've been in spaces even last month. Was it last month? It was either last month or it was it was very early this month. I went to a studio around my spot I live in Georgia. Nigga was ass. He had the full setup. He had all like the what's it called? Like the plugins. He had all this expensive equipment, multiple different rooms. It was very spacious. And he had like multiple different microphones. He had a whole production studio in there too. But it was just his vibe was like it made my song sound so bland. And then when I came back here and I re-recorded the same song, it was completely different. And just to think is like it's really like sometimes it's really the engineer that be the problem. So you have to find a really good engineer. That's why when I find one, like I stick with one. And I'm glad I found one here in New York that really like, can work with me and is not, overcharging me, but at the same time they're not like giving me like, shitty work, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's a good thing because I can record all I want, but if the engineer is not doing what he needs to do, then I'm wasting my money.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, they got everything on that one. On all those questions. Definitely covered. For sure. I love it. This is what I'm here for. When it comes down to the interviews, I love the interviews where the artist speaks. It's not just a simple answer. I love the conversation. I love the stories. Yeah. That's what we're here for. To really connect with you and learn about you and get to know you better. As not just an artist, but also as a person as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Most definitely. Now, we do have some fun questions here and there. We do have some serious questions here and there, continuing on. So, more of a fun question would be, out of your favorite artists, or top 5 favorite artists, what's your favorite project from those artists?
I don't know if you heard of her, 070 Shake. You know her?
No, but I mean, dang, I feel like she does sound familiar. Hold on.
Well, she goes by 070 Shake.
She does sound a little familiar.
She is like she had kind of like a dyke or a stud like persona. She had a project that was released. It sounds so stupid, but I'm about to look it up. Hold on. I forgot the name. But that project was like, Jesus Christ, like, it's called You Can't Kill Me. She released it 2 years ago. So it was her, it was an album, and I think she used to date Kalani, right? So after they broke up, I think that was like kind of her like breakup album of like in her feelings. And one thing about me is like, I'm an in my feelings artist, so I love when I listen to other in my feelings artists because it pretty much just validates the sound and things I'm trying to go for. I do really hope in the future, like one day I can actually like collab with her because she is like, I just love her style so much. And it like some of her choices she used in her sound, like I already have in my sound that I like use without even knowing her. That's just something that use. But I like her project. She has a lot of different songs on there, but for the most part, it's like a wavy vibe. And it is it's like a dark wavy vibe. A lot of elements of like, kind of like that melodic like trap, some like similar to like trap, but in a female way, and that's what I like about her so much, and also her persona. And it's not 100% that I like want to be like her, but I will say, like personally for me, I'm not an artist where like I'm like 100% feminine all the time. I will say that there are times where I want to like look a little bit more like masculine. I'm not saying like I'm like perfectly straight, I'm not like, anything like that. But like just with her and that persona, it definitely is someone like to kind of look up to because like she'll go and like perform and she'll wear like suits and stuff like that. Like I wore a pantsuit today and I look fly as fuck.
Right.
But it's not always like the time where like I'm not really a female artist where like I want to go out and like booty shorts and a crop top and high inch heels and stuff like that. And there are people like that, and I'm saying like that's just not me. And I feel like to have that like opportunity to like look up to someone where she's like, I think she's like 26 or something like that. To look up to someone and be like, okay, like just her style and stuff like that is like something I definitely like admire. And I really wish I collab with her. And I think she originally got famous. She got signed under Kanye West's label. So.
Okay. Okay. Definitely love that. Now I have a big question. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, Lord. I don't know. It's conflicting because it's like, I have a weird, like, I guess vision of my future was like, it's like almost like I like want to be isolated, but at the same time, I want to be like in the spotlight, which is very conflicting. And I know there's a possibility to have both, but also having both probably means that you'll have like a lot of like mental issues. Like you're going to have to switch back and forth on a second to second basis. Like for me, I do see like my like ongoing adult life, like when I have like kids and get married, I want that to be like more private. Like I don't want to be in the big city, like in New York or pretty much anywhere, like when I'm ready to actually settle down. And for me, I feel like that may become a conflict as I continue to grow. But at the same time, I would hope that in my efforts to grow, like some other artists, they're still able to keep their privacy and stuff like that. Because like I don't, for example, I don't want to be like, say, I don't want to be 30 years old and like everyone knows like what my kids look like or what, you know, what I eat every day, something like that. Like I feel like there's an artist part of me I will show at times. Like you're gonna get what you get, and I'm gonna show you, okay, I'm releasing this, I'm doing that, this is this project. But as I get older, I don't want people to necessarily be all up in like my business, pretty much. So I think that is definitely a conflict. But there's other artists, I think, for example, even like Diplo, he's like a DJ or something. I think he said something about how he has that good contrast of like, you know, the personal life and the private life. And even with being like in the circles of like the industry, sometimes can be conflicting. As you know, like a lot of times you can gain connections and network through parties and stuff like that. Right. I used to be a big party person like a couple years ago, right? Now that's not me. So I feel like in 10 years, I'm definitely like gonna have to be at a point where I have to come to a decision with, or I would have already had to come to a decision with where I would want to be, because the conflicting of like who like I actually am at a core outside the music can conflict with like the actual like part of the music industry they say you're supposed to have, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Definitely does make sense. Now, I did get the chance to see that you have done some shows. Yeah. So what's that like to do shows? What do you do to prepare for that?
Oh Lord, the shows are crazy. I haven't even posted all of them. I will say that like, I said like, that is something like I like doing like a lot. So like if I can find something that's legit, I would really like, you know, I would really like to perform there, do this, etc. That. But unfortunately, what I've been finding is sometimes people they promote shows, but they do not be professional. And like I said, I don't really play when it comes to my music. Like I take things. Sorry, it is a lot of weird people here. But
what are you at a school?
I'm at my university, so they have like a couple like lounges and stuff. Bunch of immature ass people, but anyways. So it's like I have a conflict with that, because even though I've gained respect on the online presence, and like people will reach out to me, people will respect my work, I get like a lot of comments and feedback that pretty much will keep me going forward a lot of times. In the real world, sometimes when like I show up to these shows, believe it or not, I'll get ignored. I'll get put on the set list last. And it's not until I pop out and I like I said, be that confident person where people start taking me serious. By that time it's like you're fake as fuck. Like I'm
Right.
sorry, but like it'll be the host, it'll be people like who are promoting the show who'll be like, I'll have everyone else's track list put up. Mine won't be put up. And like I said, it's also that conflict between me being like, I'm like a reserved person. I'm a quiet person naturally. Like, I don't fuck with a lot of people. I'm an introvert. But sometimes people think they can like walk over me and push me over because of that. When it comes to my music, I really don't play about that, especially when, when you go to these shows, you're investing money. So, part where you said, like, what does it look like? Oftentimes that means my nights are long as fuck. I'm spending a lot of time at the show. Sometimes more now than ever, I will stay after to support other artists. Sometimes that means being there till 3 in the morning, depending on the nature. I gotta usually have my makeup done, my hair done, so I gotta be ready hours before. Gotta drive there. Here in New York, it's different because I don't have my car here. My car is back in Georgia, so I gotta take public transit. That's usually at least 2 hours to get to back where I need to be, at least. And just the effort and dedication for that makes me even more pissed when people don't take me serious. Because there's no fucking way I'm going on my way for like 4 hours on a train to get to where you are to perform, and y'all don't even start on time. There's no way.
Like I motherfucking said, y'all gonna stop playing with her, goddamn it, motherfucker. Yeah.
There's no way. But like I said, as I get like more, like grow more, I feel like I won't be having those issues as much. But am sometimes hesitant to accept shows that exhibit characteristics that they might, be doing stuff like that.
Most definitely. I will burn y'all if y'all motherfuckers keep playing with me. I will burn y'all. Quit playing with me.
Oh, because really.
Stop playing with
like
shit.
I am very careful
that work?
now like, selecting my shows. Because I will say, like, for example, if I wanted to go, like, perform, like, let's say, like, next week, I really could. But that doesn't mean that it would be necessarily the best opportunity. So I'm very, like, I'm more selective now than I used to be. And I feel like, even with my first show, like, the first show I had, so professional. It reached out to me. I got paid, which is not a common thing for your first show. I got paid. I walked in. They offered me drinks. It was so chill. I got free promo, free pictures, got a whole bunch of beats afterwards. My fan base grew. I got connections with influencers in Atlanta. And for me, it was just like, that's how it's supposed to be. And that was my first show. But a lot of it also is your connections too. So with even here moving to New York, I kind of like felt like I had to start over. So it doesn't matter who I know back in Atlanta. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm coming here, like, I'm going to have to do everything myself like I originally did in Atlanta.
Right. I feel that same way. Like, on my side, because I just started doing music as well. Now, I haven't gotten to the point where I want to start getting myself out there and do shows yet. I want to start building up a catalog. But I'm not in Texas, so I don't got all those same people I can just call up and do this and that. I got to build the fan base up here. Don't get me wrong. I'm still repping Texas though. I'm still repping Triple D Dallas. Feel me? You don't play with me. Dirty Sap. Feel me?
I went to Houston one time. I loved it, bro. I gotta go back for sure, bro.
Everybody loves Texas. Now, when it comes down to Texas, I know everybody talks about Houston, but don't do Dallas like that. We got it. See, right. The thing about Houston, y'all in Houston, if you live in Houston, you got to drive hours on end to get to Six Flags. We only got to drive like 30 minutes. It's around the way.
I'm trying to get to the food, not the Six Flags. You got to have the food.
The food is at the Six. Oh, you want the food? Oh, guess what? Dallas, we have the state fair within our city where all the food's at. Feel me?
Okay.
Everybody in Houston got to drive up here to us to see us because we got it. Dallas got food too.
I might have to try it. We're going to see.
For sure. Moving on though, got some more interesting questions. Like,
what's been the best advice given to you? It doesn't have to pertain to music. It can if you want.
Mm-hmm.
It can also pertain to life as well.
Think about this one. I'm going to give you two. So the first one I would give is a device that when you don't know what to do, do nothing. It has helped me a lot in situations because I'm very much an overthinker. So I will try to figure out a solution, like, and not give something time. And that could be something with my music, without my music. So like, for example, let's say like with related to music, let's say I got a record deal, they reach out to me. I will take the time, like let's say 3 to 5 days, do nothing, think about it. Don't say yes, don't say no. Because when you have that time and you have that space to evaluate things, you tend to make wiser decisions. And then my second thing would probably be like following intuition. I'm very like strong on that more than I used to be. It's gotten me out of a lot of bad situations that could have ended up worse. Just following my intuition, and sometimes I haven't listened to it, and it's got me into bad situations. But I feel like with being like an adult, like you have to pretty much. It's just tough out here sometimes. It's just tough out here. You
Right.
gotta really have like a strong intuition and things like that. So I mean, trying to think of a third thing because my dad, he really does give me good advice. He's a big supporter of mine in my life in general.
That's good.
I think. Oh, he told me this. He said, if someone can't give you a yes, don't accept a no. And that pretty much means that if someone can't give you what you're looking for, and don't accept that you can't get it. So, say for example, I show up at a show and I say, can I perform? And I'm going to someone. If that person can't tell me yes because they don't have the authority to, then that means they can't tell me no. So that means I can go to someone else. I can go past you. Maybe I can go to another location, this and that. Maybe I can find out, if you're even really who you say you are, first of all. So that's another big thing because sometimes like I will sometimes feel like in a position where it's like, oh, like someone's told me no, or someone told me I can't have this opportunity, and I'll feel bad about myself. And I realize that sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, number one. And number two, sometimes these people, like, sometimes people, they don't have authority to give you a yes. Like, it may be someone the higher up that be like, oh, yeah, we fuck with her, or yeah, we do this, we do that, like, we'll do this for her. So don't always accept the no and be, like, pretty much back down because I mean, you just can't do that. There's been so many times where I've received no's, and it's crazy. Even with my like music in general, unrelated to what I make. I used to do talent shows when I was younger. I always got fucking rejected, and then look at me now.
Right.
And if I imagine like if I kept accepting those no's, and I was just like, oh, like like I don't mean anything. I'm not this. I'm not worth that. Like I probably wouldn't be making music now. And like, I will say that like for a lot of people, you do get a lot of no's when you're coming up, especially as an independent. When you're a part of a label, sometimes those yeses are like fabricated. It's just because the connections or whatever you see all the time, like they'll hype people up, and then as soon as like some shady shit come out about them, be like, oh, like we don't fuck with her, blah blah blah, or we don't fuck with him. Oh, but y'all was fucking with him when y'all had that deal together, when money was involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very hesitant about like stuff like that. I also feel like as far as like music industry advice, be very careful of like people and like scams and shit like that because I've definitely gotten scammed before when it comes to industry. And with it being so big now, some people don't know. They just don't know any better.
Most definitely. In other words, for some of you younger ones watching, basically, let me put it like this. You can go ask your dad. He going to say no. But when you go ask your mom, it's a yes. You can go to the party.
Yes, pretty much, pretty much. Same analogy. Yeah.
I love it. And now, perfect timing.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
My lovely host, STAAXZ, has joined us.
What's up? What's good?
Now, I want to pitch this. I want to point this out. How y'all both have wonderful curly hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all twinning it. Y'all twinning over here. Real shit.
Oh, God. Period.
It's just obviously I think the one that's darker is key, and then just because of the ambiance of both videos, I love it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Most definitely. But moving on. So sometimes, as people, as everyday listeners to our favorite artists, we have fantasies in the sense of wishing an artist, or more than one artist, would finally do a song together after so many years. What are some of those artists that you think like, damn, I wish y'all would stop playing around and finally do a song together?
Let's see. I was gonna say Kanye West, but I don't know. There's a lot of controversial stuff going on right now. But I am, as far as like music, I am somewhat of a Kanye fan. So I think I do like Janae. I will say that. Sorry, can we come back to this?
All right, that's fine. That's fine. What's fine? We'll bring that up later for sure. All right, I definitely got another deep question. What is the definition of success to you?
Oh, success is really like, I feel like it's more of like it's a personal threshold of when you feel in the world like your presence matters, you have a purpose, and you're fulfilling your purpose, and whatever that purpose may be. Sometimes, like for me, people have purpose exhibited through music. Some people might be through like painting, art. Other people, it could be something simple like they build houses, they work in architecture, construction. But I feel like a lot of people in life, they are lost because they don't know their purpose. And once you find that purpose, it's way easier for your life to be successful because you have that passion. And once you're able to make money off of it, there you go. You can start, essentially being rich, create a business or whatever. So success is, I feel like for me, is really finding that purpose and passion in your life and expanding that to a point where you can live off of that essentially. Because I don't think success, common thing is like money, this and that, because I could win lottery tomorrow and then I could lose all of it. Is that really me being successful? Like, I think it's, like I said, it's a growing journey, and not everyone reaches it at the same time. There's like, this is in my life, for example, someone like a 30-year-old might not feel like maybe they're struggling with confidence, self-esteem, like maybe they don't know who they are. So it's not really based off of age too. There's some people who are younger than me that are probably ahead of me. And so it's like everyone's on their different journey and everyone's on their different path. But it's important not necessarily to compare yourself to other people's path, but to learn from what they did well and see how you can apply that to your life, essentially.
Wow. You give a very complex definition. Probably the one of the most complex yet in depth and on point versions of that. We've gotten so many different versions. Some of them the same, some of them different. But this right here was top notch. Top notch. I love it. So another one of those fun questions would be, what's the best era of music to you? Now, of course, you can go back to the beginning of music, Shakespeare if you want, Beethoven, or you can bring it up and we can go to 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, or now.
I'll have to say about the 40s to the 60s range. I guess a fact a lot of people, like especially like my fans, they don't know about me. There's this style that originated in Brazil. It's called bossa nova, and it's also segmented into this other genre called MPB. Now they're speaking all in Portuguese, right? So this is not in English, but from like the 40s to the 60s in Brazil, those two genres are like they just hold a special place in my heart because the way they like the sound, the cadence, and the way that they're talking about certain things, I really like. I even have like like the actual record players where you would buy the record, the actual big record, you put it on the little thing. Like I have those back at my place where it's bossa nova music, it's MPB music, and for a lot of people my age, it's like, oh, like I wouldn't listen to that stuff, this and that, but like I'm gonna do me, and I feel like that's definitely like something that like it's just like I love it so much, even so much to the point where like I've contacted a personal tutor like to help me learn Portuguese. I'm trying to go to Brazil in the future. I've actually worked on a song and recorded a song that has me speaking Portuguese in parts of the song too. So I do take elements from their style and implement it. But that time period, I really do like a lot. I like a lot of like Brazilian culture in general, so that also probably adds into it. So, yeah.
Okay. What would you say is your favorite project from your catalog?
Can I say favorite song?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this song. It's called Faz Parte do Meu Show, and it's pretty much about the show life of an artist, right? And it's kind of like how we have songs in America where multiple people, different people will sing it. Like for example, you hear the Christmas song like Silent Night, but then like you hear like 5 famous singers sing it differently, and they'll play it like in the stores and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing in Brazil. They have like a set standard of common songs, but the top artists will sing them, but they each sound differently. So for this version that I like, it's a popular Brazilian song, but sometimes you have other artists sing the same song just in different ways. It's kind of like a country like anthem in a sense, but it's also related to the group who sings it, which that group in the song they're pretty much speaking about the life of being like an artist. Like he's saying in the song like you see me on stage, you see me like as being like this charming guy. Sorry. You see me as being like this charming guy, but like in the background, like I'm really this other person. And I think I relate to that as far as like the alter ego, because as I definitely got closer to I guess my goal of like becoming an artist, I realized how much like I said, you got to switch like that on and off. And if you're not doing it properly, it can cause like a lot of like issues. People become, like mentally ill. They start doing drugs. They be overdosed and stuff like that. Like see people on stage like who can't even perform because like they're like overdosing or like too high, too drunk, too stuff like whatever. But the song pretty much talks about that conflict of like it's part of the show. Faz parte do meu show. It's pretty much saying it's part of the show. Like so it's part of the show to present yourself a certain way and to like act a certain way and be to the crowd and like have a certain image, but in the background like the things that come with that sometimes can be like detrimental. So yeah,
I love that. That's really deep. I love it. I've always loved me, I'm a lyrical artist and I love lyrical artists, and when it comes down to rap music, so to even for the R&B artists and soul and singers to hit that kind of deep meaning too through their music. Yeah. I love that energy.
Yeah.
Get your mind thinking, mind going. I love that. Yeah. Definitely. What would you say is the most popular song from other people? That like
other people?
What do other people tend to enjoy from your music?
Like my personal music?
Yes.
I will say that they tend to like the more like upbeat stuff. I will say that. That's usually what I end up performing at shows because I do have like of the stuff that I have released, which I really plan on releasing a lot more, like a lot of good stuff in the future. Just a little side note. But the upbeat stuff is really what attracts people more. So those are like usually like heavy, like it'll be like a trap beat. Like I said, I'm like singing over it or something like that. And that's really what I started doing initially, but because I branched out so much, I don't always like have the heavy beat behind me. It's something like where I can actually dance to instead of jumping up and down on the stage, for etc. Something like that. But most people like my upbeat stuff. Um, Most people like the stuff where I'm talking about like, um, you know, something vulgar, something like sex or something like whatever the case may be. Some people don't. I will say some people like my more cleaner stuff, but in general, my stuff usually is at a clean level. Like I don't go overboard in general, just the type of artist I am. But I think the things that I am planning on releasing now, I think regardless, I think pretty much everyone will like it just because of the quality that is coming with it. So.
Okay. When as creators, we have so much energy, so much life going into our content we put out, whether it's music, whether it's videos, or whatever we're writing. But at times we need breaks. At times we get creative blocks. What do you do to get back into that mode?
I feel like I definitely had a long creative block in the past. Like it was one summer, I forgot which summer it was. It wasn't last summer, I will say that. But I definitely had like a long creative block where every time I like tried to write a song, it was pretty much just went to trash. And like I said before, remember I said that thing where I was like, if you don't know what to do, do nothing. That's what I did. I just stopped and I chilled, stacked my bread up, and once I got to the point where I felt like I just woke up one night and I was like, oh shit, I got something in my head like I want to write. And that was I think Gone, the song I released, Gone. That was like kind of when I like started like realizing like, okay, I'm getting back in my groove. But I haven't had any roadblocks recently. Like, if anything, they only last like what, a week, which I don't necessarily consider a roadblock. So I will say in the past, like I used to like use like weed a lot as a creative outlet. Like I used to smoke before I write, but now I don't necessarily like have to do that. I just draw like my creative inspiration from within. And I do feel like there definitely is a difference. But regardless, like with the weed or not, like I wait usually like until something I feel like I'm feeling something heavy within my life where I can write about it. Because like I said before, all the things I write are related to my life, my experiences, my life, my trauma. Sometimes it's about my family. I put that in there sometimes. But it's never something where I'm just making something up just to make it sound catchy. So I have to be feeling something in order to pretty much write. So yeah.
Okay. That's definitely a new take on getting back in the groove. I like it. Definitely, I can agree with that. Out of everything I've heard, that's probably the one I agree with the most. Definitely.
Yeah.
And
I mean, because you can't really rush it. I feel like you can't rush something that's good. Even with food, like when you have that food needs to simmer and like soak and all the seasoning, like you gotta wait. It's like it's the same thing with your.
Toy Story taught me that at a young age. That little scene where the old man was cleaning Woody's boot at the bottom, and he was and the other dude with that guy was like, "Can you hurry up? Can you hurry up?" Old man said, "You can't rush art."
Yep.
You can't. And that always stuck with me. So, what do you think your breakthrough song would be structured like when that time comes?
Oh Lord. I'm not too sure, but I feel like it might be related to my debut album because, like I said, I already have a lot of my songs written, right? So, my debut album, I already have all those songs written. Um, I have like features and stuff like that as well. So, like, all that stuff is done. It just, I obviously haven't put it out yet. And another big thing for me is budget and marketing and promo because I realize how important that is. And I realize how many opportunities you can get if you do it correctly. So like, for example, I know people say stuff like, oh, like once you have it done, release it. For me, it's like, no, I need to have the right strategy. I need to have enough bread, and I need to have the right mindset and availability in my schedule that once these opportunities come flowing in, once I release something, I'm ready to do it. And I feel like for me, there's a song on my debut album that I'm planning on releasing as a single before the album comes out that I feel like is really gonna top shit off. I'm planning on doing a lot of things with that song. So yeah.
Definitely. Gotta stick with a plan. Gotta stick with a plan. There's always an agenda. Some people say, "Oh, just drop, just do it." It's not about. I mean, yeah, do it, but with the plan, with the structure behind it.
You have to. Yeah, for sure.
This is business, so yeah, you gotta have business plan written out. So, if you didn't do music, what path do you think you would have taken?
I mean, I guess I already am taking a different path. Like, I guess the normal 9 to 5 me outside of music is like computer science junkie, a geek. So I've taken like 2 years. Like, I teach kids how to code. Like, I worked at corporations before, like doing IT stuff. Be like the person who like fix your Wi-Fi, whatever the case may be. So I feel like if it wasn't for that, I'd probably just spend more time coding and IT stuff, making applications. And I will say that I do like my outlet of having something different because it gives me a chance to like escape from that. Like, there's a time where like, okay, it's time to work, it's time to do what needs to be done. But when it's like my music and it's time to like pretty much have leisure, have fun, but still take it seriously, that's my kind of escape. Because I feel like I will honestly go maybe low-key crazy if all I was doing was like on my computer, like coding. I was doing this and doing that for some company and working some job and sitting behind a computer all the time. Like, I would go fucking crazy. I'm glad I have that outlet, because a lot of people in the computer science world, sometimes they don't. That's why you see like computer science people, like they have the stigma and the stereotype of being like socially awkward and like weird and they smell and stuff like that. Like, it's just like sometimes, like, and a lot of times that is true, like, because it creates an environment for you where you don't have to socialize, you know? You don't have to talk to people, where in other professions, maybe like being a doctor or something, is person-to-person interaction a lot. When you're coding, when you're on your computer building stuff, like, I don't have to talk to you. Like, I just do what I need to do and I, have it done.
Okay. Now, let me get to this last question before we get into our fun parts. The fun parts which consist of a would you rather and first thing comes to mind. Just to kind of loosen everything up a little bit before we close out. So let me ask this question. Sir, yes. Interesting question, you feel me? Yeah. Any local artist you would like to shout out?
Any local artist? Let's see. Local to Atlanta or local to New York?
Anywhere, any artist you know that's like, yeah, let me shout you out.
I would have to say KASHAHOLIC. He's back in Atlanta. He used to be my engineer. He's actually, I was in contact with him. He's kind of like going through a hard time right now with his health. So like, I really like reach out to him and pray for him. Like, he's also an artist outside of being an engineer. To be honest with you, like, he's just a good person, like, overall. Like, and like, I support people in the game with that no matter what. It's like, even if your music isn't all the way there and there could be improvement, if you're at least a decent person, you're not doing anything shady, you're not trying to be in this game to like look anybody over, that's saying something, because there's a lot of people in this game that are not like that. So
right. I love that. I mean, that's what we're here to do too, is our Yard Talk platform. We're here to change the game, what it means to interview people. I see all these radio talk show hosts. There's a few artists they choose to keep connected with, but most of the artists, they come through their little shows and podcasts. They don't keep a good connection with them. That's not our goal over here. We want to keep a solid connection with every artist we connect with, we meet, we interview and talk to. This could be valuable connections in the future, Even from artist to artist, this is a connection that should be grown upon. And I say, if the connection is good, don't let it loose. Don't let it out your hands. Don't let it out your sight. Keep it hold it strong together.
Because you never know. Right?
Definitely. You know, I feel like, especially with the music and content creation, the future of this, we all have to stick together, you know, like solid together, back to back, because, you know, there's always been so much beef in the industry to where, you know, you got celebrities that don't want to do movies with each other and scenes with each other. Like, fuck that. Who cares about the little petty shit you mad about that they said? Work together and do it for the love of the art that you're putting in, you know? Who cares,
honest,
you know?
Maybe under the same label and be beef with each other, which is crazy to me. Like, y'all both getting y'all check from the same person.
Right.
Y'all arguing.
That don't make no sense. Just get in there and make music. Do what you came to do and love, you know? That's what we're here for. We're here to do what we love. We love to talk to people. We love to do music. We love to create. And we're going to keep doing that. So,
Appreciate it.
Definitely moving on to the Would You Rather. And first thing comes to mind, starting off with the Would You Rather.
Okay.
All right. I try to switch it up every now and then. So, would you rather drink coffee with cigarette ashes or drink coffee mixed with the hottest hot sauce?
Hot sauce. 100%.
The hottest one. Like,
yes.
like Ghost, something hotter than Ghost Reaper. Okay. Okay. Would you rather take a bath in rubbing alcohol or gasoline? Just for one day, one regular night.
Rubbing alcohol.
Damn, that's gonna burn. You gonna find some cuts you ain't thought you had.
Yeah. It'll clean them though, you know.
Yeah. You'll be oddly very, very, very clean. Yeah. Most definitely. Would you rather smoke weed infused with Xanax or smoke weed infused with LSD?
I thought she was going to say fentanyl first. Probably LSD.
Okay.
I never tried LSD, but that's my choice.
I hear that's like just another psychedelic, like mushrooms and shit.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't do it because it's a pill form, but understandable. Okay. Would you rather?
You're just making these up.
Yes, some of these I am making them up. These other ones I haven't written down yet, but I have memorized them. Mm-hmm. Would you rather? Matter of fact, instead of would you rather, more of a question. Mm-hmm. Do you know the movie Harry Potter?
Yeah.
What house would you love to be inducted into?
I've never watched it, but I've taken the quiz, and I'm the one that's yellow.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah, that one. I'm part of that one, apparently.
Okay. Damn, that covers that. So moving on to the final little piece, which is the first thing comes to mind. So I'm gonna say one word, and you just say whatever is on your mind when I say that. So starting off with color.
I have to say for me, it probably makes me think of drawing. I've been taking an interest of drawing lately. Like, I will take a blank sheet of paper and I'll draw the world around me. And I've been feel like I'm getting better at it. Like as far as shading, making things actually look realistic. Like, I will sometimes just sit by the window, just take my time.
Okay. Place.
I have to say maybe being here at university, I do feel like it definitely provides opportunities, but definitely a lot that I don't fuck with, and there's a lot of people I don't fuck with. But it's helped me so much become mature and figure out how to be in a world where you don't and people who are just not positive and toxic people. to pretty much just be yourself within that.
Okay. Country.
Probably has to go back to the Brazil thing because I do really want to go to Brazil. I'm contemplating if I should go there for my next birthday or not. So we'll see.
Okay. Food.
I'm hungry right now.
Okay. Smell.
I was gonna say it's stuff, but I don't know if that's a good thing.
Okay. Sound.
Sound. I probably have to be. I kind of like got a little happy like the past couple of days. Like I don't know how to do you guys, but like when you find like old songs you used to listen to, and like I found a bunch of old songs like on a separate like a YouTube account I had that like, oh damn, like I remember I used to listen to that all the time, and so I just been like jamming for like the past couple of days. It's amazing.
Okay. Song.
Song, probably the one that I'm supposed to be releasing this month. I plan on going back to Georgia next week, so I'm trying to do a shoot, like a photo shoot related to that, so I can put out some promo.
Okay. I love that. I love that. We got a few more. I just want to state,
Okay.
I love how you're giving some description behind why you chose what you chose. I love that. That's new. That's never been done before. I love that in-depth feature about that. But 3 more. Shoe.
Shoot?
Yeah.
Maybe like with heels, because definitely something I've been contemplating with. Remember we were talking about like the whole masculine feminine thing? I do like to wear heels, but like I've become to realize how it is sometimes to be like perform in heels and actually dance and move around. So I've been contemplating on that as far as like my image, like I show up to somewhere wearing the freshest Jordans or maybe the freshest red bottom. Like I have to decide, and I feel like that's like definitely like I just contemplate with. Like there's been times where I just like sacrifice like the pain, like of wearing like heels or whatever, just to have a certain image, like being on stage or like having a certain presence, but. I don't know. That's the closest thing I can give you for sure.
Okay. Hero.
Hero. I guess maybe my dad, because I feel like my dad, like at this point, like wanna like he's just my best friend, and I feel like a lot of people don't have relationships like that. As you get older, it develops into something different than when you get older. And I feel like for me, like especially with being here in New York and moving from Atlanta, my dad, he has helped me a lot. So much so, like last month, I remember he was really, really sick. And all the way from Atlanta, make sure I was okay. And some people would not do that. I know people who are from around here, their parents would not even afford to come see them.
Wow.
So I really appreciate that.
Most definitely. W Dad.
W Dad.
And finally, our last one on that. Team.
This actually makes me think about how much I actually don't like working in teams, which is somewhat of a disadvantage for me because I'm like a very individualistic person. And that's within my music, that's without my music. So, like, I'll be the person, like, for example, in high school, like, you want to get into groups, I'd be like, nope, this and that. And I feel like, yes, I am very good about myself, but I do struggle when, for example, I have to be in a team, but I can struggle with actually being a team player. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bossy, which obviously a lot of people don't like, but because I am very, like, individualistic, actually like confident certain abilities, I tend to always take on a leadership role, which is and I feel like, for example, unfortunate case, before I even moved here, I had the chance to be on a reality show for independent artists, I had to decline it because they were doing all the filming and all the shooting in Atlanta, and I couldn't afford to keep coming back down there like just every weekend. Unfortunately, I had to decline the contract. But even with that, sometimes I struggled because there was some episodes where they were scheduling, like working with teams of artists and like doing like group studio sessions. Like I said before, remember like how I'm usually in by myself. So I don't really, number one, I don't really have the experience of working a lot within groups, and number two, I feel like it's one of like my weaker areas because I'm always like am like, okay, I'll do this shit myself, etc., etc.
Most definitely. What was that show that it was?
Actually, it was like, I forgot the name, but it was very similar to like the rhythm and flow concept of like they take you through an artist development process and they record you working with influencers. Mm-hmm. So if you look back at one of my shows, like if you go on my Instagram, their Instagram page will be on there. Like before I even got the opportunity, I had to like perform at the show and showcase them that I'm ready to be in like the actual film or the actual like it was like an episode film. At the end, you would, I think you would enter like a deal with Sony or something. So unfortunately, I had to decline the opportunity. But like I also said before, everything happens for a reason. So just because I doesn't mean that I don't necessarily have anything in the future waiting for me.
Right.
Man, this has been I feel like I love every interview that we have. Like I want to say each interview gets better and better. In a sense, I think every interview we do has its perks.
Yeah.
I don't see no flaws with any of them. So each interview has its perks. And the perk is getting to meet you.
Yes,
getting to talk to you, getting to know you, getting to share your story with others out there who may not know you. And that's something we're going to continue to do. So with me saying that, y'all already know the motherfucking drill. Like, subscribe, all that hoorah, boorah, bullshit. Love it, hate it. I don't care what you're going to do. You know, it's me, Big T, my girl STAAXZ down here. And I was going to say Twilight in my head, but it still works. But Twilla.
Well, that's what it is.
Because that is what... Man, I love the name, though. Twilla. I'm not going to get over that. That definitely is top notch of a name. But y'all already know I'll be singing and listening from the moon and the twilight that it brings back. I don't know. I'm trying to make some crazy shit. All right. Now, but we up out of here. Y'all already know. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Just give me something to look for. Don't miss it, don't even want more. Didn't look left, you could have been right beside me. Check on your home, your wifey. Step on my toes, it might be bigger than trust. On the floor, to the bed. I see why I'm here. You say that you need something. No, come again, spend some money, baby. Spend some money, baby.